What is our first main topic today?
Main topic number 1 comes to us from Aaron, who says, "Hey, John, well, it's November, and on top of Black Panther, there are a lot of other great-looking movies set to come out. I was wondering if you guys could break down what movies are coming that we should look out for, and which ones are your most anticipated. Thanks for all you guys do, and bring on the filthy."
All right, Aaron, thanks a lot for saying that in. And, Rob and I were sitting around the office after everybody else had gone home yesterday for a bit. It's like, can you believe it's November?
No.
It is a little crazy that it is, in fact, November, and here we are. And you know what? You're right. November, we've gone through a big dry spell at the theaters. A couple of nice little diamonds in the rough that have come out, but not a lot of content, not a lot of stuff lately, ever since July. We've gone through a few months of a dry spell here. But November is actually looking really good. Like, if you're a film fan, November it looks like one to circle on the calendar because there's a lot of good stuff coming out. Now, we're obviously not going to sit here and go through every little limited release indie film that's popping out here and there, but there are a number of films that we should talk about here. So I'm going to run down for you some of the highlights of the movies that are coming out this month. And then myself, Rob, and Chris, we're going to break down what for us are the top 5 most anticipated out of those. So, all right, let's get over and start with this. The first movie I want to bring to your attention here is this little film called Armageddon Time with Anne Hathaway, Jeremy Strong from Succession, and the great Anthony Hopkins. We saw a preview for this at CinemaCon in April, and we were like, whoa, like Jewish kid growing up as a little kid, his best friend is a black kid, but then he has to go to a different school where all the prejudices and racism come to bear. And now this Jewish kid is struggling with, how does he navigate this? And he makes decisions a kid would make, but then his grandfather, Anthony Hopkins, departs wisdom. This is all from the trailer stuff. And Anne Hathaway, who I do not know why, on the list of celebrities who I don't get why they get so much crap, Chris Pratt, Anne Hathaway's on that list too, because I think she's spectacular. I love her. But anyway, this little thing looks special. I think it's set during the Reagan era. I think is when
I think it's like very autobiographical to director James Gray's own story.
So I think so. It's a little bit like Fableman's in that.
Yeah.
So that's called Armageddon Time. That is coming out on November 4th. The next movie for us to look at that's also coming out on November 4th is called Dear Zoe. Now, this stars Sadie Sink, who's, of course, you guys will know, she's a big star now for Stranger Things. It also has, if you're a Sons of Anarchy fan, Theo Rossi is in there. Jennifer Capshaw's in this. This is not a fun night out kind of looking movie, but it looks powerful. There's a little bit of My Girl in here, a little bit of Bridge Terabithia. Sadie Sink plays a girl who's got a younger sister and a family, and the younger sister dies. And I guess I take it from the preview that she continues to write notes to her. The younger sister's name is Zoe, and she continues to write notes to her. And then her father is Theo Rossi, who's kind of not with the family anymore. So they're kind of not in contact, and they reconnect. And of course, there's the bad boy next door. That's got to be a part of it too. But it's a little bit of a coming of age thing. So on that, it's appropriate. So I really like Theo Rossi. I'm really curious to see how Sadie Sink does moving forward with a lot of stuff. So I'm looking forward to Dear Zoe. That is on November 4th. All right. Coming out on November 6th, we've got a re-release, if you will. If I can find my, I don't know if I can't find my, nope, that's not it. Oh, well, just take my words. Oh, there it is. We've got Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Yes. Just talked about that yesterday.
A Planes, Trains, and Automobiles re-release for the special 35th anniversary. Now, just to let you guys know, this is not wide. They're not categorizing this as wide, but it is a Fathom event, so it's probably going to be playing in some theater near you somewhere. Keep your eyes open for this. This is one of the great comedies that constantly, this is like a de facto Thanksgiving sort of movie. People love this to this day. Again, November 6th, that comes out. All right. Moving on from that, we move into November 11th. And, well, that's the big one. Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. What needs to be said that hasn't been said about this already? The premiere has already happened. The early reactions to the film are pretty damn great. They're pretty spectacular. So, yes, November 11th is when we're going to get our first look at Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. Next up, we've got another film that they showed us a bunch of when we were at CinemaCon this year. There's been documentaries about this, 13 Lives. This has got, listen to this cast, Viggo Mortensen, Joel Edgerton, Colin Farrell, based on a true story. To me, the previews for it looked every bit as riveting and powerful as you would think they would. So this looks great to me. 13 Lives comes out on November 18th.
But I that was already on streaming and it was already in theaters. Are they re-releasing it for Oscar consideration?
Was that the documentary one of it?
No, that was that.
I was confused about that too, and I think they pulled it or something, and now it's back because I saw it. Now it's re-releasing.
Yeah. So it might be it might be now a wide thing. That might be the thing
I
about
think that's what was
going
for
wide
Oscar
on this one now.
consideration too. It's by the way, I just want to say it's a fantastic film.
And it's going wide.
Yeah, that's right. I kind of forget sometimes when it's a smaller release, it'll release New York, Chicago,
Right.
LA.
They do the small limited
Yeah.
release thing. They get a word of mouth campaign going. Then they do the big wide release so everybody can see it.
It's great though.
All right. The 18th already has 13 Lives. It also has Bones and All. The new Timothy Chalamet, Mark Rylance, Academy Award nominated Mark Rylance is in there as well. Who doesn't love a good cannibal love story?
Everyone, John loves a good cannibal love story.
Everybody loves
Army
it.
Hammer.
Nothing's Army Hammer.
Oh boy.
Definitely loves
Well, who starred in the director's
Call Me
previous
by Your
movie.
Name with Timothy Chalamet. Yes, he
Maybe
did.
that's where he got the idea from.
Could be. He's like, this actually
He's like, are you
sounds like a
kidding?
good
I was
idea.
born for this role, and they didn't give it to me.
So the way the movie's described, they call it, the film follows cannibalistic lovers, Marin and Lee, as they embark on a road trip across the Reagan-era America. So it's another Reagan-era sort of thing. So again, the kid who I think is going to be the next Daniel Day-Lewis, Timothy Chalamet. So that's coming out on the 18th. Now, also coming out on the 18th. So the 18th is pretty big. I am so excited about the menu. Anya Taylor-Joy, Nicholas Hoult, and I believe the best actor in the world right now who does not have an Academy Award currently in Ralph Fiennes. It's described as a young couple travels to a remote island to eat at an exclusive restaurant where the chef has prepared a lavish menu with some shocking surprises. And if you've watched the trailer for it, you know this looks like an absolute must watch. Anya Taylor-Joy kind of rules the world right now. I love Nicholas Hoult. And of course, Ralph Fiennes, again, I think the greatest actor in the world who does not currently have an Oscar on his mantle. All right. Also on the 18th, we've got another film they showed us a big preview for, She Said. It's Carey Mulligan, Zoe Kazan, Patricia Clarkson. It's described as the New York Times reporter Megan Twohey. This is a true story, by the way. And Jodie Cantor break one of the most important stories in a generation. A story that helped launch the Me Too movement and shattered decades of silence around the subject of sexual assault in Hollywood. I'll tell you what, even the preview they showed us for it was unsettling. It was disturbing and unsettling, and those can be powerful experiences when you're watching a movie, so that should be interesting. All right, finally moving off the 18th, and we move now into the 23rd. We have the new Steven Spielberg film, The Fabelmans, starring Michelle Williams, Gabriel LaBelle, Paul Dano. I think Seth Rogen's in there somewhere as well. This, of course, is basically a veiled autobiographical film by Steven Spielberg about his growing up, his family experiences, his mother. The responses for this is that this is a front runner for Best Picture at the Academy Awards. It's won a couple of the major film festivals, including Toronto Film Festival. I believe this won Toronto, which is a pretty good precursor to the Academy Awards. It looks like this is going to be the film to beat. So Steven Spielberg's Fabelmans could be your Best Picture winner coming up. It's coming out on November 23rd. Now, here's a strange one. Also coming out on the same day, on November 23rd, is Disney's forgotten film, Strange World. Now, we actually talked about this a couple of weeks ago, if you guys remember, that somebody wrote in and said, is it just me or they announced Strange World and then they've never said anything about it ever again? I have not seen a single promo, trailer, ad spot, anything for this movie, maybe 2 months, but it's coming out in like 3 weeks. It's coming out November 23rd. So that's got the voices of Gabriel Union, Alan Tudyk, who I absolutely love. Jake Gyllenhaal does one of the voices in it. So the Disney film that Disney seems to want everybody to forget about, but they're still releasing it, Strange World, comes out on November 23rd. All right. Also coming out on November 23rd, this one looks great. Glenn Powell coming off his big hit in Top Gun Maverick. Jonathan Majors, who is, of course, our new Kang. He's got a little Creed movie coming out there too. It's called Devotion. We've seen the trailers for this. A pair of U.S. Navy fighter pilots risk their lives. No, this is not Top Gun 3. A pair of U.S. Navy fighter pilots risk their lives during the Korean War and become some of the Navy's most celebrated wingmen. Yes. So the trailers for this look fantastic. Everything about it looks good. So that is Devotion, coming out November 23rd. The final film on our list here, coming out November 25th, is the new Hugh Jackman film, The Son. That also stars Vanessa Kirby, another one with Anthony Hopkins, Laura Dern. Peter has his busy life with his new partner, Beth, and their baby thrown into disarray when his ex-wife, Kate, turns up with their teenage son, Nicholas. Every single major awards, Oscars forecaster that I have read, I'm not kidding, every single one of them has said Hugh Jackman is an absolute lock for Best Actor nomination for this. Him and Brendan Fraser for Whale. Those are your pretty much two absolute locks. And maybe even Butler for Elvis. But these are your locks for Best Actor. The trailer looks moving and powerful. It's kind of a spiritual sequel and continuation of The Father, which was great, by the way. So, yeah, there you are. So, again, just running it down quickly. Armageddon on the 4th. Dear Zoe also on the 4th. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, the 35th anniversary re-release on November 6th. The Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, November 11th. 13 Lives on November 18th, along with Bones and All and The Menu. And She Said, that's a full weekend. All in the same weekend. 13 Lives, Bones and All, The Menu, and She Said. On the 23rd, The Fabelmans. Also on the 23rd, Devotion and Strange World. And then on the 25th, The Sun. So for me, my top 5 most anticipated look something like this. Number 1 has got to be Black Panther. The one to me is the one. We can bring up my list there, Jonathan. Black Panther, Wakanda Forever is my number 1. The Fabelmans, obviously the greatest filmmaker of all time, Steven Spielberg, basically doing his autobiography. That's my number 2. The Menu is my number 3. You know, with my real admiration for Timothée Chalamet, you'd think I would have put that number 3, but everything about The Menu looks so deliciously good. I've got to have that one on there. Then the Timothée Chalamet, Bones and All go on there. And then Armageddon Time. This one captured my imagination at Cannes, or at CinemaCon, I should say. And I've loved what I've seen. So for me, those are my top 5 most anticipated of the month of November. As I said, guys, this month is packed. This month has so much good looking stuff in it. It's incredibly exciting. We want to thank a sponsor of today's episode, Stamps.com. Guys, it happens every holiday season. No matter how prepared we think we are for the season, it always turns out we're nowhere near as prepared as we thought we were, especially with our shipping. And right about now, seasonal excitement, or dread as the case may be, is really starting to settle in, especially for small businesses. Slaying through traffic to the post office, inboxes more like a blizzard than a winter wonderland, rushing to send cards and gifts to your loyal clients. The good news is it's not too late to get your holiday mailing and shipping under control with Stamps.com. Sign up now and you'll be printing your own postage in minutes. Because Stamps.com is your one-stop shop for all of your shipping and mailing needs. Get access to the United States Postal Service and UPS services that you need to run your business right from your computer. Up to 86% off. So this holiday season, trade late nights for silent nights and get started with Stamps.com today. Sign up with promo code Campea for a special offer that includes a 4-week trial plus free postage and a free digital scale. No long-term commitments or contracts. Just go to Stamps.com, click the microphone at the top of the page, and enter the code Campea. Anyway, Rob, you had a chance to take a look at this list. What would you say are your most anticipated?
My list is similar to yours, but a little different. At number 5, I have She Said, just because I love movies about reporters going after stories, whether it's All the President's Men, whether it's Spotlight, and being that this is literally still going on. Harvey Weinstein's on trial here in Los Angeles, and I just think it's going to be great. Bones and All, number 4. Luca, the director, and I never can pronounce his last name correctly, also directed things like Suspiria. He did the remake of Suspiria. I really love Timothée Chalamet, so I'm looking forward to this. And Cannibals, come on. And I'll watch
Cannibals,
any movie.
Dinosaurs, and Ninjas.
And we've been getting some really great cannibal movies like Fresh, Raw, now Bones and All. So it's a subgenre I enjoy. Number 3, like you, Armageddon Time. I'm a huge James Gray fan. And the subject matter obviously interests me. Look, give me a movie about people fighting racism. It's just whether it's in the military, I should have said Devotion too, but Devotion's not my top 5. But I love the idea of children learning how to get along and fighting evil in school. I like that. And James Gray's movies are great. I'm a huge fan of James Gray. My number 3 spot.
No, number 3 was Armageddon Time.
I think I put 4 on my list. Uh-oh. I added, okay. Well, then I guess I have to go Wakanda Forever is my number 2.
Oh, okay.
I just cut out because I actually had 5 was The Menu, but whatever.
So The Menu's number 1?
No. My number 1 is The Fabelmans.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And it's, look, as much Steven Spielberg, like you said, he's the GOAT. And I'll tell you something. To me, I'm not going to be one of these people that's going to poo-poo comic book movies because I love my comic book movies. However, and I can't wait to see Wakanda Forever. I can't. But, Steven Spielberg has been a master filmmaker for most of my life. And like Stephen King, even if I don't love his books, I've loved his books and they've meant so much to me throughout my life that I will always read a Stephen King novel. By the way, his last novel, Fairy Tale, is really good. And The Fabelmans, my God, Steven Spielberg has been there literally the beginning of my love of cinema, back at Jaws, which I saw in the theaters, Sugarland Express, even Duel. So I got a movie about his life and how he sees himself and where he came from and his origins. That's catnip to me, John. So The Fabelmans is my number 1 film. As a matter of fact, it's my number 1 film of the year, really.
Really?
Really. Yeah.
That high for you?
Yeah, because, it's a master. Look, if he was filming The Phone Book, I would watch it, if only just to see where he's going to put the camera.
All right. So your top 5, She Said, Bones and All, Armageddon Time, Wakanda Forever at number 2, and The Fables number 1. By the way, I skipped over one in my reading, and that one I skipped over, November 23rd, Glass Onion.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I totally forgot.
Is one that I
was that
saw.
on? You didn't send this to us.
No,
on this.
I accidentally skipped over Glass Onion. I just realized I actually skipped over that one. Glass Onion, of course, is I have to relook at my entire top 5 now.
So we'll be back.
By the way, then I
You know
would
what
put,
I do? Here's what I do. Look at my list, put Glass Onion in number 3, and bump The Menu down to 4, and Bones and All down to 5, and Armageddon Time gets knocked off my list. So Black Panther is still my number 1. Fabelmans is number 2. Then comes Glass Onion, The Menu, and Bones and All. So
then I'm tying. I'm putting at 4 Bones and All in The Menu. How about that?
Okay, fair enough.
Tie.
Okay, so now that Chris has a little bit of an advantage here, what would you say are your top 5?
Number 5 would be She Said, because Carey Mulligan and Zoe Kazan, I think, are just phenomenal actresses, and I'm really excited to see what they do with this ongoing story. Number 4, I would do a double feature of The Menu and Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, because I need a palate cleanser.
Because
after
it's
that.
a re-release, I'll allow it.
Thank you.
You end with Planes, Trains.
I was going to say, that movie is so quotable.
It is.
Those aren't pillows. It's so good. And you guys know I'm not a big horror person, but this is one I'll go see with you, Tay.
Oh, yeah.
We'll go see it, and you just have to hold my hand. I'm going to cry a lot.
Pretty much Steve Martin at the rental company is me every day. That is my spirit.
Very accurate.
By
Oh
the
my
way,
gosh.
He looks the same as he does in Only Murders in the Building,
Oh, absolutely.
and it's 35 years
Yeah.
between.
Yeah, it does.
Steve Martin's aging real well. Banjo keeps you young. Number 3, I would do Glass Onion. Very excited about that. Number 2 would be Black Panther: Wakanda Forever for me. We also have the tradition of seeing a Marvel movie for Logan's birthday every year. Last year we went with you guys for Doctor Strange,
That's
so
right.
this is our favorite thing to do. And number 1 for me also is Fabelmans.
Yay.
I'm really excited to see a love letter to cinema, especially because around this time of year, particularly for when I'm doing my SAG voting, it's a lot of watching hard to watch films, and they're important and they are beautifully done. But I'm excited when we have stories that are those kind of festival darlings, those award darlings, that are about joy. And I
Right.
feel like that movie is going to have so much love and heart in it. And I'm really excited to see that. I think it's going to just make me re-fall in love with Steven Spielberg's work. And it's also going to just kind of reignite my own love for movies.
Lou, let me ask you, out of all the movies we listed for November, which one for you is standing out as the one you got to see?
Ooh, well, Black Panther 2, that's going to be a cop-out, so I'm not going to say that one, even though that is my first one. But yeah, The Fabelmans is really speaking to me because, again, a love letter to cinema. I think that would, after all these months of movie talk and people screaming about comic book movies, positive or negative, I think it'll be refreshing to just see a love letter to cinema, period.
Ray, what about you? You got one of those?
Devotion, baby.
Devotion.
Let's go.
You've been excited about Devotion ever since CinemaCon.
Yep. I just watched the trailer again right now. It still looks the same, but
They didn't change it?
They haven't changed it, really? Anyway, guys, the question is for you. What do you think about this incredible lineup for November that's coming down the pipe? I mean, again, we've been in a bit of a drought lately, but November's coming in with a huge storm and vengeance. Which one are you guys looking forward to the most? Whatever your thoughts are, jump down to the comment section below and leave your thoughts there.